Televised presidential debates began in 1960 when Vice President Richard Nixon agreed to debate with his challenger, Senator John F. Kennedy. When John F. Kennedy, the younger and less experienced man, sat casually in his chair with his legs crossed and his hands folded, while Richard Nixon, the 8-year vice president, desperately gripped the arm of his chair and seemed uncomfortable, the dynamics between the two instantly shifted. And at that point, the stakes were made clear.
Because we are in a deadly competition.
The better-known, more seasoned candidate had more to lose than gain by debating his opponent. Because Kennedy fared so well and may have defeated Nixon on the strength of that first debate,
but I think it could be a greater country.
The next 3 presidential elections, there were no debates at all. It was only in 1976, when the incumbent president, Gerald Ford, was unelected, an accidental president, and his challenger, Jimmy Carter, that debates became a fixture in our electoral process. And Gerald Ford, too, would learn the perils of debating his opponent.
I don't believe that the Poles consider themselves dominated by the Soviet Union.
Because Gerald Ford, at a peak moment of the Cold War, seemed unaware that a nation like Poland was actually a satellite of the Soviet Union. Suddenly it was Ford who didn't seem to have as full a grasp of foreign politics as he needed. In 1984, one of the great issues facing Reagan, the incumbent, was his age. A much younger opponent, Walter Mondale, had been nominated by the Democrats. Reagan made what seemed an offhanded joke that turned the tables on Mondale.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
In 1992, when the incumbent George H.W. Bush faced Bill Clinton, there was a generational difference between these two candidates. And the much younger Clinton seemed more energetic and engaged. He was especially strong at town hall meetings, where he took questions directly from the public, while George H.W. Bush seemed to hold them at a distance.
Small state for 12 years. I'll tell you how it's affected me.
In the 2000 election, one of the questions facing George Bush, the Republican nominee, was whether he had the seasoning and judgment to hold the nation's highest office. But something George Bush understood, maybe better than Al Gore, was how the public watching the debate would react to the comportment and demeanor of the two candidates. And Al Gore, who was very knowledgeable and a master of policy, got a little more aggressive with George Bush than many viewers liked.
But can you get things done? And I believe I can.
When Barack Obama emerged in 2008 as the Democratic nominee, whose excitement was generated in part by his youth, when he debated the much older John McCain, there was a feeling among many viewers that Senator McCain was not showing proper respect.
You know who voted for it? You might never know. That one. You know who voted?
Modern presidential debates are not really so much about the candidates' policies and ideas as about their characters and personalities. And in a time when campaigns are so carefully scripted, the televised debate is the unscripted moment where maybe the real personality or the character of the candidate shows through.